Sometimes life feels as if it's quite a long road, and when you start to plan things and they, shall we say, take a dive and seem to want to go in their own direction, it can be quite a thing to deal with. I've had a lot of thoughts lately about the path that is in front of me, and I want to make it as conducive as much as I can, as much as I possibly can, to the work I'm doing. I've always been aware that I've had an awful lot of energy. That word. People who work with me will know about that word. But I've had an awful lot of energy in the sense that I can usually multitask and take on quite a few projects and manage to juggle them and keep them all going. Managing about 20 balls at the same time. This is normal. This isn't in any way natural. But throughout my life, I've usually taken it to mean that I am an energetic person, and I know I am. But I'm also somebody who needs to switch off a little bit now and again. I suppose what I'm saying is I need to rein myself in now and again. And once I started to think about this, I also started to think about my level of creativity. Now, my level of creativity is quite strong. I'm sure some of you probably think that you know that, and you have it all going on with me in the background, and you just think it's natural and normal, as I do. But the problem with this is that ever since I was young, a teenager, I would have a need to be creative, and it would grow stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and faster and faster and faster until I was sort of really up there on quite a big high. And then I might do something like produce, I don't know, something like about 6 songs in a couple of days, which at the time could seem quite normal to do. And these songs weren't just little bits of things, they're things that were actually polished as well. So it's like I was on some sort of time lapse, in a time lapse film. But then afterwards, there would be the sinking that would start. And then I would start to sink down and down and down and down in mood, until I reached quite not a very good seabed. That's a good way to describe it, I suppose, really, where I felt very uncomfortable, very lonely, and it was very dark, not a very nice place to be. And sometimes I would come up again, but I wouldn't go to that great height again until next time. Instead, I started to become creative all over again. Having thought about this and having been on quite might call a high for quite a while over this last springtime, I suddenly started to feel quite low. So I thought, well, I've got to do something about this because it's been going on forever. And I managed to talk to a very good medical health professional who said one word when I talked to her. She said, bipolar. So I thought, I hadn't thought of that. I've thought of cyclothymia recently, and which is a form of bipolar. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's a strange word, but it does, when I look at the symptoms, it does sort of answer a lot to do with the way I am, my personality, and what I'm all about. I suppose music and strong creativity has been in my line since forever. But it seems to have reached some sort of height within me somehow, and much of the time I'm so busy working with creativity, I don't realise I'm getting onto a high. It seems like it's like a goal I have to reach. And if I don't reach that goal, then I probably would feel worse. So I don't know. It's very hard to explain in some ways, but perhaps some of you will get an idea of what I'm talking about. Some of you may even feel strong mood changes yourself. I think it's quite normal to feel mood changes. It all depends how we actually do it and how we experience it. But it's been quite a ride over this summer, and also having worked very hard over the last couple of years, suffering from insomnia and working through the night, which is another symptom of what I seem to have. The last 2 years producing the course I produced, and then having a lot of people not wishing to look at themselves and having to manage all of that as well, and people afraid to accept their own vulnerabilities. I think that's the bottom line. We have to be vulnerable. We're all vulnerable. We've all got that within us. But some people are rather afraid of encountering that and talking about that. But it's no big deal. It's just that I suppose we're frightened of being imperfect. Imperfect. That's a word that I think we all carry around with us. I mustn't be imperfect. I've got to show the perfect side of myself. But we do need to consider all the emotions that we might well feel as we're travelling through life. And some of the people I've had on the course haven't actually gone there with that. And it's been hard. It's been a hard ride. So I knew I had to make some changes. So all this has come together, all in one big lump, through the summer as it's gone on. Plus the fact that what I did is I turned to writing. I've done a lot of writing. And one of the books has been particularly helpful, a novel I'm writing with a lot of gypsy content in it, but it's been quite helpful for me to work on. So I spent quite a bit of my time doing that, working manically at it, I suppose. It has been, but it's been sort of measured. I've attempted to measure myself with it and tried to stay a bit neutral. I call it living small these days, after reading about something Annie saw about a greyhound who was living small and with his routine, just doing the usual things every day. And somebody who took this greyhound on said, that's what we should all be doing, because this person who took the greyhound on had terrible anxiety and found that copying the greyhound, doing it doggy style and living small, is one of the best things for us if we tend to get overboard with everything. You can do it with a dog or with a cat, with anything. Your animals live small. They live for their routine. And I think if we can take a leaf out of their book, if you like, then we can get it a little bit right. So, so it has been difficult, very difficult thinking about doing this video, because I have to work out how I have to talk about this, because people are just used to hearing me just talking about the culture, but now I'm talking about me, which makes a change, I suppose. I don't usually do that, but I do find that sometimes we have to. I do feel very grateful to those who have supported me through this summer, because it hasn't been easy, and they've been absolutely brilliant in seeing how I am and caring for me and looking after my welfare here and there. It's only been emails a lot of the time, but it does help. It does help, helps a lot. So we will be restructuring the course. I'm doing a writing course. If you want to know, if you've got all these words and you want to learn whether it's poetry or prose, you want to learn how to get them down on paper and how to make things work. I will be structuring a course on that, a short one. It'll only be short. And Linda and I, who do the podcast together, she will be helping me with a new version of the shamanic interaction course, which involves shamanic counselling, and there'll be lots of other things developing. So you need to watch this space to see if you can come on board and join in the fun. So I will leave it there and let you chew over this. And I will be back in business next year. But what we're doing for the rest of this year is we're restructuring and making it so that it's presentable for everyone. And then we can start something new, and hopefully it'll be easier. It'll all be online, and most of it will be online anyway. So do take care. Thank you for your time, and I will be speaking to you again soon. Lots of love. Bye. Waiting patiently as always. Oh, not so patiently. When I'm talking for my videos, he often wants to pretend he's being patient, but really is saying, "Can we go now?" Yes, Larry, we can. We can go now.